stolen a car back from someone who stole it from my mother. So now I have the car. Senior year's about to start. She's telling me don't drive it because it's not yet registered. I'm disobeying her. I walk into the house and she confronts me and she says, "Give me the keys. It's my car. I'm taking it back." So I have this choice to make. On the one hand, the keys. This is my passport to freedom, to girlfriends, to coolness. My senior year, everything is here. My manhood, my balls. Confront the Authorities. We're back with our series on being an elder. We just watched the movie scene from Scent of a Woman, the end part where Al Pacino goes in and it's the climactic scene. Basically, the two dramas playing out in the movie is the young boy who, before this scene happens, I don't think he knows Al Pacino's character. He's just going to go. He's doing a job to go and take care of this old blind man. And he's in trouble at school, and has pressure from his peers and from the authorities at school to rat on. Well, his peers don't want him to rat them out. They did something that he's being accused of, and the authorities are threatening to expel him and not get him into university unless he does rat them out. This is the conflict that he's facing. And the old man's conflict, the veteran's conflict, Al Pacino's character, well, he starts the movie. He's gonna have one last shebang in life. He's gonna drive a fast car. He's gonna sleep with a beautiful woman. He's gonna, it's been a long time since I saw the movie, but he's gonna kind of just check a couple things off his bucket list. And then he's going to kill himself. He's going to shoot himself. And Charlie, the young guy, saves his life, basically, and gives him a reason to live. And this climactic scene, Al Pacino's character comes into the school with him to stand with him as he faces the trial of the boy, Charlie, and faces the judgment of his peers and his authorities. And I mean, talking about being an elder and just having, this old military veteran who's seen battle, who's seen many things, to sit with you, beside you, to have your back during that occasion, and then to make that stand for you at the end, and it's also a stand for. In making that stand, Al Pacino's character reclaims his honor.
But that's what I think is incredible. It really is Charlie giving him, or it's also Charlie giving him a reason to live, and the reason is being an elder.
Yes. Yes.
So.
Yeah, and he also stands up for Charlie. Hans and I have been talking about this recently, standing with and standing for. So there's a distinction there that's really powerful. Maybe we can talk about that in today's episode or a future one. But he also, so he stands up and gives a speech, confronts the authorities, confronts Charlie's peers, and confronts the entire institution. Like, what's the culture they're building here? It's a prep school. It's an elite prep school in America, and they take pride in raising up men, boys to men, preparing them for leadership in the world, with a long storied tradition of, great men coming from that institution. But they're basically, it's become a culture of compromise.
Yes, and as he said, training, making them vessel of snitches.
Rats, yeah. Vessel of rats, a ship of rats.
Rewarding the one that snitches and punishing the one that doesn't want to.
The ones that have character. There's some great lines in that speech. Great lines in that speech. But, yeah, so that role, that role Al Pacino plays there for Charlie, it's a great role for an elder. And as we were getting ready to go live, I was thinking of some examples for myself. Probably the most examples I have from my personal life are my mother going in and confronting school authorities, also church authorities. My mom was a warrior, She was down to confront anyone that was messing with her kids. Yeah, she really was. Mother bear, Fucking great role for an elder. And it's great to have the younger ones see that example, You don't just take it lying down, whatever the dictates come from above.
I'm thinking of, I'm looking at, say, coaches, but like in sports, and I'm looking at some of the greatest coaches, both in cycling and football, and one of their characteristics is that they always defend their players. Like you see a Jose Mourinho, or you see the guy in the cycling, I forget now, the Belgian guy, but they would always defend their riders. Like you have some coaches and they would like publicly not humiliate, but like blame or not standing with or for them. But it's a great sign of great coaches that they're also elders and they protect their players, their team, no matter what. Doesn't care if they fuck it up for the team and he's angry with them, to the outside world, he's to the press and to the other teams or the public image, he's always defending his players, and it creates such a strong team mentality that you have this guy in charge, the elder, like taking care of them no matter what. I don't care if it's right or wrong, I'm defending you,
Yeah.
And I think that's beautiful. It's an incredible connective power, community power, and if you're working in a team, I imagine that's what leads to the result. If you know your elder is going to defend you no matter what, fuck, man, you go to battle for him. You go, So
another of the best examples I can think of, a man named Michael Richards. I've told you this anecdote a couple times, but Florentine was at this conference looking for visionaries and leaders to come and attend one of our ice stands in 2007, and she had these full-page flyers that she was passing out, and this flyer, the headline is calling for 44 visionaries willing to face everything, avoid nothing, and stand for humanity. She hands it to this guy. He takes one look at it, reads the headline. They said, "I'll be there," and that was it. They didn't talk anymore, and he showed up. And this was a guy who literally, we talk about being an elder as someone who goes beyond your own personal children to take in and raise up, defend, stand for, stand with more people than his own immediate family. And the woman that he had been dating for several years, they broke up. She ended up, I think, becoming a drug addict, and she had 2 kids with this other guy, and she died. And in the meantime, he'd gone and had 2 children, 2 sons, with another woman on the other side of the country. And when he heard that she died, and there were these 2 boys left behind with at least no mother, possibly no father either. I think no father. He went and adopted them. He took them in as his own. And this was the kind of man he was, like in in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He started really visionary dude. He invented a kind of like soy-based wax to counter, the petroleum wax. And he hired homeless people off the street. So it took them into his house, actually, not just gave them a job. Took them into his house so, it gets very fucking cold in Iowa, Like, you don't know cold until you spend a winter in Iowa. And it gave them a place to live, a place to work. It gave them a way to reclaim their dignity. And but this was the guy who was, and he would go. He was the kind of guy so active in his local community. He would go in by himself and confront the city council, confront the people with all the money, like any issue on behalf of the community, on behalf of the people. He was the warrior. He was the fighter. He was there. And I later became friends with one of his sons, and we spent some time in Thailand. And I would hear his judgments of his father. He judged his father for basically caring for too many other people. In a way, it seemed like, and not being there enough for him. But yeah, and Hans, you and I haven't had children, obviously. Otherwise, I imagine we would have much more call to confront the authorities. People who are trying to raise our children, educate them, punish them.
Yes.
That's a real conflict. If you have people with different values, you have people you see could be somehow having your child bow down to false authority, what you see as false authority.
But I do see some redemption now, because I was thinking too, I don't have any clear instances, but I see some redemption possible. What's that friend of yours whose son was judging him, do you see him that he was playing or was being the elder for all these other people, and that it may have come at the cost of caring for his own son?
Yeah, actually, I don't know how much. Yeah, I think that was part of it. Another part of it, another reason he judged his dad, which was a way that I honored I was like, wow, what an incredible father. Was that this guy, his son, bright kid, visionary kid, had ideas for like world peace. This was back in the Cold War. So his dad encouraged him to take off to the Soviet Union. So this kid, I don't know, he's maybe 12, 13, 14, and he's standing for world peace, and his dad's totally in support of him going off and doing this kind of thing. Earlier in his life, his dad had taken him and his brother, before they'd adopted the other two, on a year-long trip by car, by truck, down through Mexico, into Central America, into South America, all around, like just making up their own journey, like as a way of educating them, as a way of raising them up. And eventually, this kid, he had ideas for a movie, full support of his dad. And the kid writes a screenplay, and a traveling troupe of actors comes to town, theater or whatever. He wants to join this theater group. His dad encourages him. So as a young teenage boy, he joins this theater company, takes off. He ends up selling his screenplay to a major Hollywood studio for, I think it was like $100,000. This was back in the 80s. So in today's money, maybe that's, I don't know, $250,000 or something. And I'm like, wow, what a great elder, to encourage to encourage his son to just go off and fully believe in himself and take on the world and make things happen. But yeah, he had judgments about his father for some of that in the long run. Would have liked his father to have done it differently. So, but probably just about all fathers face that judgment of their children, no matter how they do it.
At least at some point.
Part of the cost, part of the risk of taking on that role of elder is that, one day you'll likely be accused of all that's wrong in their life. If only you had raised them differently. Yeah, it's an incredible role of honor to be a father, to be an elder. Yeah.
Yes, go watch that scene. It's very powerful. And what a gift it must be to have someone like that in your life. What a gift it must be that you could, be that person for someone. Like, Charlie saved his life by letting him be, or calling him forth to be an elder for him.
I remember when I encouraged my youngest brother to leave school and leave his mom's house at 16, 17, come live with me in Texas. And I'd teach him, what it needs to be a man. And then my brother Dave got him from university to come out. And I didn't actually have to confront their authorities. I felt very kind of in a rebellious, revolutionary way ready to. Like, it was very much a stand I was making for them. But yeah, I don't think I have to. I do remember this one moment several years later after I'd been with my brothers. It was a Saturday night, and this was at a point in time when they had landscaping businesses now, because I split my landscaping business in 3. And there was a night we were on my Saturday night on my porch, Austin. We're celebrating, and an undercover cop walks up through the front gate, and he's confronting us about IDs and and especially back then I had so many confrontations with authorities, or police in particular, and he grabbed me in front of my brothers and a couple of girls we were seeing who were there, threw me to my knees, humiliated me in front of my brothers, and I don't know. I'm trying to remember these moments. I don't have I don't think I have.
But there is one. Yes, there is. The farmer guy, the big guy who confronted your mom. And when he's yelling at your mom, "Get off my porch!"
Oh, right. Well, that was him doing that, not me doing that.
But he was defending you in that moment.
He was the Al Pacino character.
Yes,
for me.
he was Al Pacino for you.
Right. Yes. Yeah, for sure. Man, that was a powerful moment for me.
Exactly.
Growing up, my mom...
You're Charlie in that moment.
My mom was such a dominant figure. No one messed with my mom. But so she was very much a powerful, positive role model in ways, but then to also see someone confront her, a man, was powerful for me.
Tell the story, man.
All right. So, well, I have to shortcut the story. I'll enter the story at a point where I'm 17, senior year of high school is about to start. I've been mostly riding the bus to school the first 3 years of high school. I worked my ass off all summer as a masonry laborer, which is about the hardest job you can have in the heat of summer. And I'm part of being a roofer, and I've earned the money to pay for a car. It's a long story, but I've basically stolen a car back from someone who stole it from my mother. And she said I could have it if I was willing to get the car back. So now I have the car. Senior year's about to start. She's telling me don't drive it because it's not yet registered. And because I'm only 17, if I get in trouble with the car, she'll be in trouble as the one who's responsible for me, as the elder, right? I'm disobeying her, and I'm driving the car during the day when she's not there to get it fixed up, get it ready for the school year to start. And I come home one evening, I've been driving the car, I walk into the house, I come into the kitchen, my siblings are there, and she confronts me, and she says, "Give me the keys. It's my car, I'm taking it back." And so I have this choice to make, this decision to make. On the one hand, the keys, this is my passport to freedom, to girlfriends, to coolness, my senior year. Everything is here. My manhood, my balls, is in this hand. And in the other is, like, if I give it to my mom, I lose everything, And again,
I wonder what you did.
to me, this is everything. My whole life is right here on this choice. And my mom is, like I said, some people may have, I don't know, some people have different kind of mothers, but my mother, you don't mess with. And I said, did I say no? I said no in some form, whether I shook my head or whatever. And I started walking away from her. She started walking after me. "Give me the keys." Sorry, Mom, if you're watching this,
Stand off.
This was the rest of this story is kind of a traumatic moment for my mom that to this day I don't think she's forgiven me for. But then she starts chasing after me. This big kitchen and dining room area, and we take a couple passes around this long island. All my brothers and sisters there. She's like, "Dave, stop him. Lisa, stop him." They kind of give a half-ass effort, but don't dare get in between either one of us. And
I'm happy you're telling the short version. How many laps?
I head for the front door, and she says, "Yeah, she's. I mean, now we're running. She says, if you go out that door, don't you ever come back." She denies this, but maybe she doesn't remember it, but I remember very clearly. And I went out that front door so fast, I didn't even have to think twice at that point. And she slammed that door so hard. It's a door it's a double door, heavy door. It's not supposed to swing outside the house, only it swings inside. It went through the hinges, slams up against the outside of the house, and then back close. I took off in the car to my friend's house. I'm telling him what happens. We see lights out front. We look out. It's my mom and her friend. And they're out there trying to take the license plates off the car. And I'm like, oh, shit, what are we going to do? So we go to tell my friend's dad, who's this big, like 350-pound monster of a man. And he's sitting in this big recliner reading the newspaper with his glasses, it's like out of a cartoon or something, And we tell him what's going on, and he gets up, It's just like huge. And he's like, deep voice, big barrel-chested, has to go sideways through the door, Walks out there, still newspaper in hand. Say, "Hey, get off my property!" And I've never seen my mom move so fast. I heard her friend took off to the car, didn't say anything, and just hightailed it out of there. And I had never, I'd had moments of confronting my mother before this that were powerful for me. And again, it's hard for my mom to hear these stories because she hears it as betrayal by me. But for me, I'm proud that I stood up to her as at 16, at 17. And
maybe the role of a father, or maybe the role of an elder, is also to protect a boy from his mom's love.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I don't know. This was not my mom being overly mothering, but
It's a way of describing how
it's a
mothers love their children.
what?
It's yeah.
Well, my mom was not over, like, not mothering. She really, like, let us run free and take risks. And my mom, in a lot of ways, played the role of the father.
So what I'm saying is, whatever that is, there needs to be a counterpoint to it. And that counterpoint is that of the father or the elder or the...
Yeah, for sure.
Like, as a point of reference, because if that's the only thing. So whatever that love of the mom is, there needs to be a counterpoint, and that could be the role of... That's the role of the father or the elder.
Yeah, once my dad left home when I was 14, it was only her reign. You know, it was her kingdom. Yeah. I don't need to tell all the family stories on a public podcast, but it was...
Talk to your mom again, okay?
Yeah.
She might be watching.
My mom knows I love her. I'll finish it off with this. My dad then took me in, because I lived at my friend's house for, I don't know, maybe a week. My dad took me in. He was living with his new wife. It sucked to be there. My dad found a home for me with my uncle out in the Wild West in Utah. And, you know, yeah, there's a role of an elder that my dad played there for sure. Took me in, right? Took me in. This is one of the things we had listed on being an elder. Yes. But I had to go back one more time to get my things, to go and move out west or to go live with my dad. And I'll never forget walking up the walkway to the front door, and my mom's there doing dishes in the window of the kitchen, and the look in her eyes, like she'd been betrayed by me, you know. It was a difficult moment, and yet very, very much something that the young man needs to do.
Yes,
he needs to have that separation from his mother at some point. He needs to walk away.
maybe to become a man, you need to disappoint your mom. You need to kill off.
Very, very much so. To be a man who can then confront the women and lead the women in your life.
Yes.
Who can confront, you know, who can walk his own path, be his own man in the face of disappointing and the disapproval of his mother and his father as well. But,
yes.
Yeah, it's something that, unfortunately, it seems so many young men are not doing these days.
Actually, that would be a whole new episode. You know, how to become a man. Disappoint your mom. It's for another
Maybe
day.
do a series on becoming a man.
Yes.
That'd be awesome. Great whole new series to explore. I see Steve Smith, if you're still watching. What's up, brother? It was great talking to you. I was in, where was I, Steve, when we had that call? It was last year in Ecuador. I'd actually gone back I'd spent 4 months with my mom, helping her out, watching over her, taking care of her. And I was stranded. The authorities would not let me out of Ecuador, the whole COVID pandemic and everything. And my brother Steve had been going through a very difficult time with his split with his wife. But I see you, brother, and the eye stands are coming back. Steve attended my eye stands back in the day, 2006. Yeah, so other men watching, where we are standing for, hosting, putting on some events for men to come and reclaim, re-embrace their sacred honor.
Standing with also.
And come reclaim your honor, your brothers, your allies. This is for all men who may be watching. Gonna do some holy work there.
End of October in Medellín, Colombia.
If you've been compromising in your life, which happens, it happens, come back and
Yeah, you want to make a comeback. You want to say stop, no more, and live the rest of your life with purpose and vision and brothers.
find your vision again. It's a vision quest. It's an honor quest. It's an ally quest. We're gonna do it in the Andes Mountains at a place that looks like
Last Samurai.
where the last of the samurai lived in the movie The Last Samurai. So
See you here.
tomorrow.